The definition of a knife edge, because India are 55 runs away in their pursuit of 147. New Zealand need 4 wickets with Ejaz Patel creating a new record. The most wickets by a visiting spinner against India in India at a particular venue.
At Wankhede.
At Wankhede. Ian Botham had 22 at the Wankhede.
23.
Ejaz Patel now has 23. But Rishabh Pant holds the key because he's hit a 50 where no one else has managed to even touch double digits. Today, your famed top order collapsed yet again. Rohit Sharma playing a terrible shot. Virat Kohli, a walking wicket against spin yet again. Then Shubman Gill, a rare misjudgment. He thought the ball would spin away, but then it hit that length and went on with the arm. Bowled. Sarfaraz getting out to a full toss, caught at deep square leg. That's another one. Yashasvi, yes, he's had a decent run, but then he was due for a failure. It was a good ball by Glenn Phillips, though. Ravindra Jadeja stabbed at one, but he shared a very vital 41-run stand with Rishabh Pant. But amidst all the ruins, Rishabh Pant has shown you that, yes, if you apply yourself and if you show attack plus defense, you can chase this total down. It is still very much, I would say, many people disagree with it, but I still say it is 50-50 in the favor. I mean, it's no one's favor because in a low-scoring thriller, 4 wickets, 55 runs, which team is the favorite? Anything can happen. But as long as Pant is there, India are the favorites. But once Pant goes, it could be game over.
How do you break it down? Like, how much do you take it? 10 runs every 2-3 overs? Or how do you basically make sure that if you lose a wicket from here on, how do you go about this chase? Because personally, to me, what I feel is that if India lose Pant shortly in the second session, then your chances of winning this test are pretty much over. But then if Pant is obviously going to be there, let's assume that India lose Washington Sundar. And I personally feel that India would want to take this to, the remaining runs by taking, 10 runs each.
I mean, see, it is 10 runs each, and in 55 runs, it's now you've crossed the halfway mark. You're more than halfway ahead, okay? So, Pant holds the key. That is true. If Pant continues to battle on and he gets good support from Washington, although Washington Sundar did survive one chance. I mean, Devon Conway had to make a lot of ground to ensure that he caught it. But then when you're running, you can't catch the ball. It's very difficult.
Exactly.
The second one is New Zealand will be ruining not taking that review against Rishabh Pant. Because he had kind of missed it, but then maybe looking at the naked eye, the ball might have been spinning down like where it was hitting the stumps. So that is why it is a big burden that you've got on Rishabh Pant's shoulders at this point in time.
And every single time, like it's pretty much turning out to be a trend that if India are in trouble, you're going to look at Pant, and that's okay. It's great to see, someone who is bailing India out of those tough situations, but it cannot really happen every single time because if you look at, most of the dismissals that have taken place in the second innings, it's not just about, it's not really about New Zealand's brilliance on the field or with their ball. I think it's down to the fact that there have been some, and I'm not going to mince my words here, there have been some rubbish shots that have been played by the Indian batters, to be very honest. And who do we, really say this thing, that who do we really blame here? I'm not really sure whether from where the discussions would have to start. Irrespective of what really happens in this match, who do you have the first discussions with? Do you go to Abhishek Nair? Do you go to Ranton Descartes? Or do you start the discussions with both Rohit, Kohli, maybe for that matter, Sarfaraz Khan for that matter, who has been pretty much a domestic stalwart?
I mean, see, if you look at it, you can't have any kind of discussion because, see, this is, if you win this, there are not many positives.
Exactly.
Let's make one thing very clear here. There are not many positives. We'll have a bigger discussion on it. You've just managed to barely avoid the whitewash. Okay. Now, this is important if you have to look at the broader context of it, the WTC final. You need to win Mumbai so that you have a minimalistic chance of even reaching the final. You have to win 3 in Australia. Okay. 1 or 2 batters might step up. Okay. There's a lot of bravado. There's still a lot of hype from the fans that, the comeback will begin, we'll win, all these things. I'm not going to take names here. But then cricket is not a video game. Okay. Many people are boosted by the fact that, they did well in the T20 World Cup, but then T20 World Cup, you got incredibly lucky. Let's make very let's make no bones about it. You got incredibly lucky in winning the T20 World Cup. You are a lucky champion. Let us make no. You're not dominating
But
champion.
who isn't?
Australia is a dominating
You
champion.
always need some luck to go in your
3,
way.
7, 15, 23. 4 out of that, you need not need luck at all. So that is why, in that sense, it is really a big problem. Now, each and every dismissal, let us start with Rohit Sharma. He wanted to show intent. But what happened in that intent? He played one of the most horrible shots that you could ever imagine.
A top edge.
Such a miscued pull shot. Such a big miscued pull shot. And boy, oh boy, straight catch. And Rohit has been dismissed mostly 5 out of 6 innings. He's now gone to pace. He and Latham, the captain seemed to be making it a habit of falling to space. Others will get bowled to spin in that way.
Let's go to
Virat Kohli.
Shubman Gill for that matter.
Shubman Gill.
I think it wasn't really his mistake.
Misjudgment.
Yeah, it was pretty much a misjudgment because anyone would have expected the ball to turn away, from the right hander, but then it drifted in after it pitched, before it was just about to pitch, and then, he got bowled out.
Yeah, so because on that length, you were seeing the ball go away, go away, go away, go away. But then this one drifted in, held its line, and it crashed into the stump.
Yeah.
So that's what Shubman Gill also would have thought. A guy on 90, he then decides to leave the ball and gets bowled. It does hurt. I mean, that is how the nature of the wicket is. But then Virat Kohli. Let me be very honest, in all the 7-8 deliveries that he was on the crease, he did not give me an iota of confidence in ensuring that he will get to double digits. I'm sorry, that is how it has been degenerated into. You are seeing the steady deterioration, and again, left arm spin has got you. He just stabbed at a delivery. Daryl Mitchell takes a good low catch. So that is why it is a really, really big situation that is there with Virat Kohli now. A lot of questions have to be answered. A lot of questions.
Sarfaraz Khan, I think getting out on a
low
full toss, I think it's really going to call for some criticism. It wasn't a well-timed shot at all.
Yeah.
Pretty much it looked like a dismissal that New Zealand had, planned. You specifically had a fielder at deep square leg, and that's where Sarfaraz said there was no power, no timing, and at the end he was caught.
Yep, indeed. So, and if you look at the rest of the batting, see, it's held around Rishabh Pant, but then everything will evolve around Pant now. 55 runs, 4 wickets. And I'm kind of tempted that, okay, one subscriber yesterday, a family member stated that India win by 1 wicket, Mohammad Siraj is the winning shot. I'm tempted to believe that this could very well also happen. See, at the start of the day, we said that India are slight favourites, but then it is not going to be a easy chase. Even yesterday, I had reiterated the fact that it won't happen. So, this is a huge problem, but this is a wake-up call. I mean, let us not whitewash this with a lot of positivity. There is nothing positive about this because you have a problem. And unless fans remain in delusion, oh, we won this game, we avoided the whitewash. Look at what you're just seeing. You avoided a whitewash at home. Consider this major magnitude. And if you are thinking that with this team, you're going to win 3 or 4 tests in the BGT, forget about it. And anyway, you want 2 nations, 2 of the best nations to come to the BGT. And India, honestly, is not one of the best.
Absolutely.
Let us be very honest about it.
I think one of the things that I'm not really happy, as far as this Indian team is concerned, you're not really, having one of your batters, take that steady, approach, so that the other batters can really revolve around you. And this is something that I felt India missed in Bengaluru also in the first innings, in Pune also, after you had bundled New Zealand out for 259 odd in the first innings. I think sometimes it is important to play textbook cricket, sometimes it is important to play typical test cricket, and that's something that has been missing in this Indian team. What's the rush has been all about? Why do you always want to take this attacking approach and then probably make a comment that in a bid to become an indomitable team like the Australia of late 90s and early 2000s, we would want to we might have to lose a few matches and we would be probably ready to take those few matches. But then as it has been said earlier also, losing to this New Zealand team is it has to hurt. Had you lost to someone who is obviously better on skill, and it's all due respect to New Zealand, you probably had lost to someone like an England team of 2012 that defeated you at home. I think it would have still been okay, because on that given day, or on that particular for that particular series, England were better. They were definitely the better team. They were an all-rounded unit. In case of New Zealand, you look at the spinners that they have, even their batters, or for that matter, even their past record in the subcontinent conditions, it wasn't really impressive at all. Because mind you, in Bengaluru, it was only New Zealand's third victory that they had secured against India. First came way back in 1969, then 1988, and after that, after a gap of 36 years, they secured their third test victory, and obviously eventually went on to lift the series in Pune.
You have lost to a side that didn't win for 8 months.
Yep.
They had lost 4 tests prior to this. Now 2 they have won. They have beaten India, a fact that no other nation has ever managed it for 12 years. And I'll just take this one comment before we get into further thing. What do you mean lucky champion? That's the case. Australia also lucky to win ODI World Cup 2023. India just poor in final. That's been the case for decades. Talk only about test or shows. Rajiv SK, the second point that you are saying just sums up the fact that they are lucky champions. And I didn't mention Australia World Cup 2023. Although that I am tempted to put, I'm not going to put it because I know many fans will not get it. But I had mentioned that 2003, 2007, 2015, boss, that was dominance.
I think in case of 2023 also, you really have to credit not just luck in case of Australia, but Glenn Maxwell. Yeah. Because had he not played arguably the best ODI innings of all time, I think things could have been completely different. And it happened at the iconic Wankhede only, as Siddharth rightly puts.
Yep. And India's 2 T20 World Cup wins were incredibly lucky. Let us make no mistake about it. Misbah-ul Haq, who would have thought he would have played that horrible scoop shot? And who would have thought Surya Kumar taking that catch and Rishabh Pant having that injury at the right opportune moment? Those were luck, my friends. And even 2013, that was luck. The only trophy that you won dominatingly, I would say, was 2011. That is the
2013 too.
No, Champions Trophy. 5 runs. That was again that was again luck. So let's take some comments that is there. Rookie Techie is saying Pant is Ben Stokes of India. Sarfaraz is biggest overrated player. This India has too many unpredictable players in the middle order. Unpredictable Pant looking solid. Then imagine our middle order.
I would still say that Pant in his very short Test career is still a better bet than Ben Stokes.
Yes, he is. But actually, if you look at it, India might have won Brisbane, but even in this series, Pant didn't help you win the series. That's one thing. Stokes also, see the miracle of Headingley, but England never won that series. It was a 2-2 draw. That's credit to Australianism in that sense. Pant has won series-winning knock against Australia. He's done well apart from that also. But then here, Ben Stokes, actually, if you look at it, he didn't help you win the series. He's helping you avoid a whitewash. Kudos to that.
But then Pant's consistency is pretty much unbelievable.
And
same cannot be said about Ben Stokes.
It is. That's the case. But then Stokes had a consistent run. Now he's in the middle of a lean patch. That is, I think, age and other things also catching up.
Injuries are a big factor.
But I would only urge people not to paint this as a positive. Don't spin it in a positive way, because there is
assuming India win.
No, even if India win, nothing positive. There is nothing good coming out of this. You're just keeping what is the spluttering flame of the WTC final hopes alive. You're caught in the midst of a storm. There is nothing positive about India's win, or there is going to be a lot of negativity. And I will say this, there will be negativity because of the way how you approach this.
Absolutely.
Timid, no clarity, no aggression barring one. Look at where you are. It's a fitting scoreline that you're 2-0 because there is no place for cowardly cricket. And India, by dishing out a poor wicket, this is a poor deck. Let us make no mistake about it. It's a poor deck. If you can win in this also, great. You will then spin around, oh, we managed to avoid a whitewash against 2004 Australia by dishing out such a horrendous wicket. I am sorry. You have to take everything into perspective. And that is why I urge people to be realistic about it. But I know where I'm coming from. It won't happen. We'll all be celebrating as if they have got the Akashdeep syndrome. Akashdeep celebrated the dismissal of Tom Latham as if he was going to ensure a whitewash was going to happen for India. And looking at the stature of Tom Latham, he managed to do that in this phase. Well, that's how India is. They want to clutch to straws at this point. And the same, like a announcer over and over again. Sportsman saying, Gigi should be questioned. What has he done to our team? This whitewash is going to be etched under his name. But then, sportsman, no whitewash yet. India might still win this. but you have just managed to crawl over the line.
But I think more than GG, I would say I would really like to question the players here. I would really want to make sure that domestic cricket becomes mandatory for each and everyone. You don't really have to
Your
look at the
domestic
star culture.
cricket is not going to help because you have absolutely corrupted the domestic system. If that is the case, Sarfaraz would have been right now in.
True.
A behemoth of domestic cricket, what has he done? He's now got 35. Whose average is that? The guy who you dropped, KL
Yeah.
Rahul. KL Rahul was a big domestic stalwart until 2013-14. He came through domestic cricket and represented India. What happened? Some bad karam of yours will not go away. Suddenly, for 10 years, you managed to sidetrack domestic cricket. How is suddenly that the magic potion? But we'll get to that a bit
Yeah,
later.
obviously,
because
that can be a detailed discussion.
that can be a detailed discussion about this. Pricking also. Pant will win this one for India. It will be one of his greatest innings,
Absolutely.
even greater than the Brisbane victory. As avoiding humiliating whitewash at home is important than winning in overseas.
No, as
That
much
is,
as important it is, avoid a whitewash. I think any overseas victory in Australia, England, and South Africa has to be, remarkable for any team for that
Yeah.
matter, any subcontinent.
I mean, if you look at it, out of all his Sena tons, has India ever won? No, I don't think so.
you
Whenever-
lost in Oval, you lost in
you
South
lost in
Africa.
Cape Town. Yeah.
In Australia, you did not have 100, but
You drew.
obviously you drew.
He
You
drew
won.
in Sydney. He drew
Yeah.
in Sydney. So when Pant has scored, ironically, he's not managed to win.
Yes.
In India, he's won, but not so much in
Even in that
overseas.
fifth test against England, that one-off test that took place in
Birmingham.
2022,
Yeah,
you lost despite
that.
him scoring a century. Yes, that's a good.
That
that's a
is
good
it.
start. Yeah.
So you weigh 100 and you weigh a contribution according to the number of matches you win. Pant is India's greatest test player. I mean, let's make no mistake
Best
about it.
wicket keeper bat of all time.
All time.
Has to be.
Yeah. MS Dhoni is nowhere in the discussion at all now. It's Rishabh Pant and then the list ends. So that's the way we are looking at it. Although I will agree it will be one of his best knocks. But then nothing positive about India winning here.
True.
Looking at the nature of how
And
you have
I
managed.
don't
to win.
disagree.
Yeah. So Om is saying Pant survived with many lives, overrated with mediocre spinners to face. So this is how poor top orders and they can't even face such bad bowling. I mean, although see, the bowling attack is not going to set the stage on fire. Let's be very honest. Ajaz Patel is a good spinner.
Yeah.
Mitchell Santer is a good spinner, but he's not a world-beating spinner.
Absolutely.
And that is, and even Glenn Phillips. Glenn Phillips was a keeper. He's been transformed into a bowler. Here.
I think had Mitchell Santner been a world beater, he would have actually played more than 30 Test matches in his last 10 years or so. Last 10 years of international
although
cricket.
Pant survived with many lives, see, that's the way he plays. So that is why.
Absolutely.
Although he is lucky though, because New Zealand didn't take the review. But naked eye, I thought was going down like. I also wouldn't have taken the review in that
True,
sense. So in that sense, so we'll hold on to the Ben Stokes analysis.
Let's just take, I think, one more comment.
One more comment, and then I think we should be done. It's like, I don't know, that's why I use the railway analogy, because all our family members are like a railway announcer, ping, 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 the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
I took that one.
You took that one.
Dipanjan Chatterjee saying, what will coaches teach?
to Rohit, Virat? They have been the constant failure. Others at least got runs in some point on the series. See, the point here has to be absolutely clear. You have to get rid of the star culture, as it has been clearly pinpointed by Siddharth, to be very honest. Let's just, take the example of Australia, England. See, no one is indispensable there. If you are going through a bad patch, if you are not really scoring runs at a consistent rate, there are some hard conversations that do take place irrespective of what you have done in the past. So that's where I think some hard conversations have to happen, but I don't think that's really going to be the case until the end of the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So if India or the senior players can really, make sure that they get those big runs in the Australia series, things are going to be completely different. But if you lose by a margin of 4-1 or 5-0, then I think there'll be some harsh calls that will have to be taken.
mean, see, look at it. Rohit and Virat combined have scored 93 and 91 runs. Virat with 93, Rohit with 91. Rohit had a 52 in Bengaluru, but his next 5 innings have resulted in only 39 runs. Virat had a 70, but his next 5 innings have yielded only 23 runs. This is a problem. This is a major problem now, because in your home summer, Virat missed the England series because of reasons that were personal to him. But then in the 5 tests that he had against Bangladesh and against New Zealand, he's not looked confident. Let us be honest about it. Everybody will harp around the fact. I mean, so many fans will say, "Oh, this is the most toughest batting that we've ever seen in this decade in India." But who decided those batting conditions? You went away from your basic nature, and now you're saying, "Oh, this is the toughest batting
And
condition."
sporting wickets would have hit.
Exactly.
The same was the case against England when you won 4-1.
4-1. But again, Virat missed that series. Now you'll say, "Oh, but how dare you ignore the fact that he got a 76 in tougher conditions in Cape Town?" But boss, that was a lottery wicket. That was a lottery. Aiden Markram got 100 in that match. Rest others were all walking wickets. Virat 76, but then what happened in the next innings, we all know.
Yeah.
What happened in Centurion, we all know. So that is a problem. We never look at things in a holistic manner. It's just that, oh, how dare you question our idols? Because they have had such a good corpus of runs for 7 years. You are allowed 5-6 years of failure here. We trust in you still. So that is the thing. And don't think, Priyanshu Singh, don't think too much. It's time to give test captaincy to Pant like Virat in 2014. Make a new team. Seniors are under burden now. Give chances to Sai Sudarshan.
I'm going to wait till Border Gavaskar Trophy and then make those calls.
Look, knowing India's star culture, they will not step aside. They will not step aside because they want to win the WTC.
But the two players that have been mentioned in the last line of the comment, Sai Sudarshan and Padikkal, I think they are really breaking the door down.
But hold your horses on even Sai Sudarshan Padikkal, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please hold your horses. Everybody is saying fast track Mayank Yadav. I mean,
no,
Mayank Yadav has never even played first class cricket that much.
Injuries are a big problem with Mayank Yadav. I would still not mind fast tracking a certain Sai Sudarshan and even Devdutt Padikkal also, but I think that you would need to wait another 5 matches.
Austin Kuna is saying the worst bit of test cricket I have seen from India in my 12 years of watching tests. Horrible shot by Rohit. This team management is terrible. Such horrifying pitches are killing test cricket. Why didn't he mention one statement on Virat Kohli? His confidence against spin is so low. So low. But then see, if coming back to the captaincy bit, if Pant has to be given the captaincy, have to wait for another cycle.
I'm not really in favor of it.
Yeah, so that's about it, folks. We'll be joining you shortly for the match end now because one more session, 1 hour. That's about it. I think the test match.
So you feel India winning?
India winning, but it will crawl across the line. Either by 2 wickets or 3 wickets, they are winning this match. Pant is the key. But if Pant goes immediately after lunch,
no. Then what is one prediction that you have for this result?
India are winning this by 2 wickets.
And I feel New Zealand are winning this by 15 runs.
15 runs. Yes. So I'm going India 2 wickets. He's saying 15 runs. New Zealand are winning by. So let's see if that holds out to be true.
With full panel.
Yeah. So after this match ends, full panel, we'll be having a thorough discussion on what has gone.
Should be around 1 p.m. Around.
Oh, but no, I will. Okay, 1 p.m.
Yeah,
1 p.m. 1:30 around that time. Full panel will be there. We'll be discussing what has happened in this match. What is the future hold? What about the seniors? 4 panelists, action-packed, intense. There will be fights guaranteed on the post-match show. So join us for
with
that.
Our humble producer Shivam.
Yes, so don't forget that, and we'll be back for the match end. India winning for me, for him, New Zealand are winning. So bye-bye. Take care. See you at the match end.